Hey Movie Guide, it's me Kaylee, and we're here at the premiere of the new movie Xeno. So come with us as we talk to the stars and the crew. Hi, nice to meet you. Congratulations on your movie.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Xeno, it shows what it's like to be an outsider and how that affects your approach to life and your view of the world. You once tweeted that you were a child of God.
Oh, yeah.
How does
Did I
that...
once tweet that?
You did.
Yeah, I mean, how could, yeah.
How does that affect your approach to life, and did it ever make you feel like an outsider?
It's a great question. Are you a child of God?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. It sort of, within this industry, more specifically, it allowed me to unapologetically play what is considered on paper to be, or I guess for lack of a better word, bad guys. Being a child of God has sort of allowed you this sort of cool opportunity to play characters that are in the Bible. If you're Muslim, those characters are in the Quran. If you're Jewish, they're in the Torah. But for me, being a believer in Jesus Christ, I think I've always looked at characters within the Bible who were on a journey and found them more interesting. Saul transforming into Paul. David trying to figure it out after some mistakes. Solomon after a whole bunch of mistakes. I think that's always been a penchant of mine, is to draw towards those characters, and from that you get some pretty fractured characters that I don't mind taking on. And I think that is perhaps my approach in everything in life. I say that recently I've been on a forgiveness tour, and obviously first and foremost asking God to forgive me for my crap, wrongdoing, sins, everything under the sun that I've done wrong as a mere mortal. And then we got to forgive ourselves, because you can't forgive anybody if you don't forgive yourself. And there's a whole bunch of people walking around who are pretty narcissistic and love to grab a finger and point it the opposite direction from thyself. And so I think it's aided me at remaining, I guess, pretty humble and feet on the ground. Yeah.
Oh, I want to ask, how would you describe Xeno in 3 words?
Okay, all these words. I'm going to say connection, adventure, and outsiders.
Outsider, I love that. And Xeno means, outsider, stranger.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time in your life or in your career where you felt like an outsider, and how did you kind of anchor and find your community?
Yeah, I had that classic middle school experience, didn't get along with everyone at school. Definitely made me feel like an outsider, definitely put in a lot of what I put into Renee, it was all worth it. But I think just growing up and going to high school and meeting new people and finding my community in acting has, I've totally grounded myself. I'm a different girl now.
I love that. Now, your character Renee, she has a tough time in the movie. She has a little bit of a tough time.
Yeah.
If you could just walk in her shoes for a little bit for a day, what's the first thing you would do?
Oh, well, I would have to spend some time with Graham, my snake. I actually think I would spend most of the day in my room, in Renee's room, with all of her creatures, because I personally have always wanted lizards and snakes, so I'm a little envious of that. Yeah, and maybe I might go downstairs and visit the alien, too.
What was it like working with Croak? Because he was a full character right in front of you, not a tennis ball.
Yeah, no, exactly, not a tennis ball. Yeah, it was honestly a relief, because I didn't have to be acting with a green screen, with Croak, with this suit, and with Garrett, it felt like one entity, and I was able to bond with it really, really fast. I'm a big animal lover, and I rescue a lot of pets, so I wasn't hard for me to find love in what people might deem the unlovable. Yeah.
3 words that would describe Xeno?
Experimental, family drama, that's 2. So I'm just gonna add 1 more. And Spielberg-ish. Yeah.
Spielberg-ish. Ooh.
A lot of Spielberg influences in this film for sure. Matt did a great job with kind of folding all those into the film.
I love that. Now, Xeno, the word means stranger, outsider. Was there ever a time in your career or in your personal life where you felt like an outsider, and how did you find your community?
Really, at the end of the day.
I feel like, I started acting to be an artist, you know? So it's like, it wasn't really about like acting. I never really wanted to be famous. I never really, wanted to do a lot of things that a lot of actors do. I really was more focused on being an artist. I'm a writer. That's really my main profession is writing. And I felt like an outsider a lot of times, I've also been a lot of times the youngest on sets. I've had to find my own kind of community in this industry, like without anyone really. So yeah, I mean, I to answer your question, it's probably a boring answer, but a lot of the time I felt like an outsider, yes. Yeah.
Oh, so sweet. So, how would you say Xeno affected like your everyday life? Did it change your view on how you live your life?
Yeah, it did. Honestly, filming in Albuquerque was one of the most interesting experiences of my life. Just being in the middle of nowhere and like being, again, like Xeno was probably the most fitting name for what we were actually experiencing. Like we were all in Albuquerque and we've never been there. I didn't know anything about the place. We were literally in the middle of a desert and, we all felt like fish out of water almost. And that's what brought the cast and crew so close together. And we're all friends, to this day. You go on so many products and they're like, oh, the cast and crew, they were always at odds or there was always some drama. It was the best. It was the best time. So,
Well, I mean, you say that there was no drama, but there's one rumor that I would like for you to clear up or just, confirm. I can't tell you my sources, but I heard that there were some Uno tournaments during filming.
Uno tournaments?
Or Uno games. And that some of the cast members were not always the winner. Is that true? What rank did you normally fall in?
I consider myself a pretty good Uno player. But during night shoots, when you're delirious and you're playing people that play in a professional setting meaning play more than I do, it got a little bit hairy. Yeah, and it got a little bit heated sometimes. But that was probably the only drama that there was. And it was literally all on the floor of this old Albuquerque house at like 3 a.m. We're like, we have to do something. So yeah, there was a few. You know what? Honestly, every set I've been on, there has been Uno issues. I'm serious. Yeah, so it's not the first. Yeah.
Can you describe Xeno in 3 words?
Oh. Family fun alien.
Ooh, I like it.
Family fun alien. Maybe not an alien that you want to kind of like, run into in a dark alley unless you're, telepathically bonded to it, but still, family fun alien.
I love it. Now, the title Xeno means outsider, stranger.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time in your career that you felt like an outsider, and who did you reach out to anchor you back down?
All the time. It's really a lot of what this business ends up being half the time is ups and downs and everything, but you always reach out to your friends and family, right? The people that you can talk to and will be honest with you about things and tell you to get in gear and to like, don't worry about what anyone else thinks, just do what you need to do. And I think also the, in Xeno, that's sort of the journey also of the whole cast and the whole character is to get, integrating family into your life and moving forward and creating your family really.
Yeah. I love that. If you had to step into your character's shoes for a day, what would you do?
I don't think I would be. I might be a little bit worried about all of the reptiles and spiders and things that are in her room. So I might run away from that. But I would hope that I would be as kind of brave as she is. Honestly, like it's a very brave character who is someone who doesn't really kind of care what anyone else thinks, and she is who she is. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I could use a little more of that.
What was the biggest challenge or surprise when filming Xeno?
It was so. I guess in this sort of challenge and surprise of it, I think actually was the Jim Henson element of the fact that that the Jim Henson Creature Shop built this suit that this gentleman was wearing. And I mean, there's 3 kind of puppeteers on set with him who are working with the suit and working with him all the time. And some of the motion is really hard to get. And Garrett was working so hard to get that motion down. And so but when you actually interacted with him, it was kind of amazing. Instead of having to interact with something like a tennis ball for CGI or whatever, having a real thing there was amazing. But it had its own tricks to get around,
I mean, we love Jim Henson.
No.
We love practical effects. So this is incredible. What do you hope audiences feel when they leave the theater tonight?
Oh, just joy, joy and elation, because it's a ride, and as you said, Xeno is the otherness, and it's that thing of accepting the otherness and kind of creating a family from it. And I hope that it's a lot of fun. Really, is the first thing. Just a fun movie, the kind of movie that when we were kids we want to see again and again and again. So I hope they leave going, they want to see it again.
So first off, what drew you to the script of Xeno?
Matt, the writer-director, brought me into Xeno first as a storyboard artist. I was just drawing pictures for him. And on my last day in town doing pictures, he said, "You want to come to Jim Henson Creature Shop and just see the creature in my movie?" And I looked at this life-size clay sculpture. I said, "That's amazing. This is a dream come true. Good for you. I can't wait to see it." And, a couple of twists in the story later, I was inside that costume. So a dream. I mean, I didn't expect that from its conception, and to be put inside that costume by a company I grew up worshiping. I believed in those things they built. To be in one of those today is like, I'm getting chills talking to you about it. Like it's a dream come true.
It's amazing. How would you describe Xeno in 3 words?
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Sincere, hopeful, and inclusive.
I love that. I mean, now the next question you actually did, but if you had to step into your character's shoes for a day, what would you do?
I come from a background of working in creature suits, which led to this in some capacity. I worked for a long time at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. I was susceptible to being scared by my fellow characters. I'm a huge scaredy cat, so I would tell you, if I was in Croak's shoes and I saw myself, I would probably be scared. He probably has no idea. It probably has no idea, but to catch a reflection, I would probably be wary of myself. It's a big creature, makes a lot of noise, moves with a lot of weight. I think he's scary.
What message do you hope audiences pick up on after watching Xeno?
I think the message at its core, and going back to that word of sincerity, is that
wonderful for us to play our own movie.
Otherness should not be something that marginalizes you. It should be something that invites you closer to somebody else's fire. That's what makes us all, what makes us unique is what makes us so valuable to everybody else. I think otherness should be celebrated.
So first off, can we start, and how would you describe Xeno in 3 words?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with outsider, drool,
Really? Okay.
and heart. Our movie has a lot of heart. Yeah.
I love that. So how was it working with Jim Henson Company and the practical effects in a world where we have a lot of CGI and digital effects?
Yes, working with Jim Henson's company, their whole team, it's a dream for all of us. I know it was a major dream for Garrett, our puppeteer inside Croak. I'm sure little him is just freaking out. But no, they're such icons, and it's really exciting to be collaborative with a company that's been around for so long, that has made films that we all grew up on and admire. And it's really exciting to sort of, put a feather in our cap of trying to bring back films from the 90s where things are tangible and practical and not just all CGI. And I think people want it and are hungry for it. I think we're very proud. I mean, they made such an amazing suit. Our alien Croak is just so awesome and terrifying. And it made our job in post a lot easier with the little bits of, VFX that we did have to do. They did the job for us, really.
When working on this movie, were there any big surprises or challenging factors that popped up that you weren't expecting?
Ooh, finding Croak's sound was very specific. His roar, if you will, his croak, if you will. We wanted to make it very distinct to him, if you will. So that was a little tricky, finding that. But everything's sort of, locked into place. The team is small but mighty. We all had to wear many different hats to accomplish all that we were doing. Our VFX team is strong. It's mainly, Matt, our writer-director. He's so talented. He also did a large bulk of the visual effects alongside with our VFX supervisor, Sean Ritchie. It was such a family effort of making this movie, and I think we're just really proud of that.
So, first off, can you describe Xeno in 3 words?
Yes, Xeno in 3 words. I would say adventure,
I'm very excited. I'm really excited.
other, because he's the other, and heart.
I love that.
Yeah, the movie has a lot of heart in it too. It's sci-fi, it's fun, it's like a little bit scary, but it's also got a real bond and connection between many of the characters, so it carries that.
I mean, speaking of heart, you guys have Jim Henson, who captures everyone's heart. When was how early on was the decision to have practical effects versus CGI?
Good question. So right away, Matt and I, when he had finished the script and we talked about it, we made that decision first. Like, do we want to do this with visual effects or practical effects? And we both got very excited about leaning into the practical effects, like going in with the 80s, 90s films that inspired us, you know, the labyrinths and all that stuff that we grew up on. And so we're like, yeah, let's do it. It'll bring an element of realness and it will take us into that, you know, adventure. And we went to the Jim Henson shop and immediately they were like, we're in. And we couldn't believe it, but we right away started to design an original creature with the Jim Henson shop that you will see in the movie. And it was really one of the highlights of our career to be able to do that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So Xeno means, you know, outsider, stranger. Was there ever a time in your life where you felt like an outsider, and how did you kind of find your community?
Oh, I love that question. That's really good. Yeah, that's a good question. I think you touched on something important. You know, Xeno does mean other, and I think that there are characters in the film, and Lulu is a lead as well, where you feel like the other or the outside sometimes, and they connect in that. And I think that this movie challenges people's perceptions there. Like, how do you love the other? How do you work to accept or understand somebody that may be different than you? Right? I mean, in this case, there's an alien, but right? So, but there are other characters that feel that way as well. I know Matt's felt that way. I know that I have felt that way at times. I know that sometimes, especially with making movies and making art, sometimes you feel like you can see it and you know what it is and nobody else can, right? And so you feel, am I on an island here that no one understands why going to film a puppet alien in the desert will make the greatest movie of all time? So sometimes you can feel that way, but you know, I don't know. I think the movie gives a lot of like follow your heart and your instincts there, and then you can overcome those things.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you want more content like this, head over to movieguide.org. Movieguide is a nonprofit organization, and we are supported every day by viewers like you.